Alrighty, nifty 91.50. WRPI Troy, and like I always say, the opinions expressed, well, everybody's got opinions. My opinions change all the time. Opinions ain't necessarily the opinions. Executive Committee, Board of Trustees, Student Union, University, anybody else. Anything presented on this backwards radio show is just presented for laughs and giggles and tears. And I often present things just to show what other people are thinking. I don't present anything as facts. I don't believe in facts. Things are always changing. Remember Galileo. What about Galileo, Henry? Oh, I don't remember anything about Galileo, huh? That's why they call you the Professor Dummkopf. Yeah, that's who I am. The idiot emeritus. Yeah, out there in the universe. Of the absurd. Like a unlanced boil on a butt of non-reality. This whole radio show ain't nothing but a spoof. Well, some of the music might be real or not. Some people think the world ended in 2012. Well, at least that's what a buddy sent me. And I don't know, maybe this is just some kind of hologram or make-believe. You ever wonder if it's a dream within a dream? As a kid, I often wondered that all the time. Going for a ride in the car, going for a ride in the car, wondering if it was a dream. Trying to get a couple words in edgewise, lisping and stuttering my way through reality. I'll tell you about my neighbor. He grew tired of being a taxidermist after 15 years, and he went to veterinary school. I give him credit for that. But his new business never got off the ground, so he decided to operate both. A veterinary business together with the taxidermy to save money. His new slogan was, no matter what happens, you get your cat back. How's another one for you? How's this? A duck gets trampled. A lady brings a very limp duck to a veterinary surgeon. And as she lays the pet on the metal stainless steel table, the vet pulls out his stethoscopes, listens to the bird's chest, and after a moment or two, the vet shakes his head sadly and says, "I'm sorry, your duck, Cuddles, has passed away." The distressed woman wails. "Are you sure?" "Yes, I'm sure the duck is dead," replied the vet. "How can you be sure?" she protested. "I mean, you haven't done any testing on him or anything. He might just be in a coma or something." Well, the vet, he rolled his eyes back and turned around and left the room. Returned a few minutes later with a black Labrador retriever. And as the duck's owner looked on in amazement, the dog stood on his hind legs, put his front paws on the examining table, sniffed the duck from top to bottom, then looked up at the vet and with sad eyes shook his head. And the vet patted the dog on the head and took it out of the room, and a few minutes later he returned with a cat. And the cat jumped up on the table and delicately sniffed the bird from head to foot, and the cat sat back on its haunches, shook its head, meowed softly, and strolled out of the room. The vet looked at the woman and said, "I'm sorry, but as I said, this is most definitely 100% certifiably a dead duck." And the vet turned to his computer terminal, hit a few keys, and produced a bill, which he handed to the lady. The duck's owner, still in shock, took the bill. And the bill was $150. And she cried, "150 just to tell me my duck is dead?" The vet shrugged. "I'm sorry. If you had just taken my word for it, the bill would be $20. But the lab report and the CAT scan, it's now $150. You ever had cabin fever? I wonder how I get my fingers all wrapped around all these notes on the guitar, you know. All these notes here. that's a different note, ain't it? As you move the capo up and down, you get different notes to produce different sounds. You ever had cabin fever? Well, let me tell you, I've had it a number of times, living up there on the mountain, 2 looks and a sea from nowhere, and the snow piled up to the windowsills, and can't barely get out of the rear door yard to get the rake to rake the roofs and shovel the snows. Yeah, sometimes the wind blows so bad you gotta follow a rope to get out to the barn to milk the cows, and well, you're lucky if you can get back in if the rope don't broke, and if you gotta go to the little thing they call the loo, or the building with the half moon on it, the outhouse or the privy, you're hoping it's still there and ain't blown over. Well, the snow up on the mountain, it sure does come down. I've seen it snow for months at a time, just a little bit, a flake at a time, and it mounts up. The next thing you know, you got 2, 3, 4 feet. And believe it or not, sometimes even 6, 8 feet. Then you have to wait for the snow blowers to come and clear the road so you can get out, and then they try and repair the power lines, and you hope your generator and your fuel don't run out. But there's always wood on the wood pile, so fear not, you keep the wood stove cherry red, and everything works out, because spring eventually comes, and then everything floods. Yeah, well, that's the way it is, country living at its best. What can I tell you? But it's comfy up there when your pot belly is raising cherry hot, and you don't dare touch the stovepipe because you lose your fingers. And well, I remember one winter when they got the roads cleared out, and I decided I'd get in my old Volvo. It was a 60 or 61, I think. It looked more like a 46 Ford, and I cranked and cranked on that 6-volt battery, and finally she sputtered and started. You could always count on those old Volvos. They would run no matter what, and if not, you could jump start them by rolling them down the hill. Let out the clutch, pop it in gear, and boom, 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 muffler or not. Yeah, well, I'm going down the mountain, and I didn't tell you it had no brakes. But I had cabin fever, and I was determined to get down on the lowlands and visit a friend. Had to get out of that cabin, had to do something. I got as far as the next town, and there was a stop sign. Yeah, let me tell you, like I said, it had no brakes. I ran right through that stop sign. Between the stop sign and the snowbank, I got stopped, and that's when I decided to turn around and head back up on the mountain and sit by the potbelly stove. Yeah, snow tires and tire chains are flapping against the fenders, but I made it. You could always depend on them old Volvos. They were built like German tanks, but they weren't German. May your day be happy and bright, and everything in your life be whatever you choose it to be, because in this world that I live in, there is no reality. How did I find that out? I listened to the mainstream news, and that's all I know, or that's all I choose to know. May your day be whatever your day may be. WRPI Troy, hanging out with the Hairman.